Hello everybody, my name is Cool Blue and I'm bringing you guys View Replay Cast number 9, and I am so excited for this because I'm almost at number 10 and I also have a whole ton, well okay, not necessarily a ton because a ton is a little too many, but I have a whole bunch of View Replay Casts that were sent to me, so I have a long list of stuff that I got to get done for you guys so you guys can enjoy those videos and see yourselves point to the video and tell your friends, hey, check this out, I am famous, because everybody knows that if you're famous, or yeah, if you're famous and I'm famous, because your fame is, I don't know, something with fame. I can't really think of how I was going to end that. But anyway, at any rate, this is obviously a View Replay Cast sent in by somebody. I'm not going to tell you who it was because the general assumption is if you sent in the match, you probably won the match. And that would be no fun for you guys. Spoilers will ensue and then we'll all be sad and then nobody watch the video. And then next thing you know, everybody's disappointed. Not disappointed, but everybody's disappointed. But anyway, we got ourselves an all pick. I didn't really check the levels before this, but I'm just gonna assume that's relatively newer level, not necessarily low level, but just newer level. Like still getting used to the game, still adjusting to everything. So we might see some weird things. We might see a very one-sided fight. We also might see a pretty even matchup because typically it's not about the mistakes that you make when you're playing Dota that determines whether you win or lose. It's about when you make those mistakes. Actually, it's kind of the same. That's actually kind of the same thing. I don't know. That came out kind of weird. Basically, it's not about how many mistakes you made. It's about when you make mistakes. That's what I'm trying to say. So, your team could be doing perfectly fine, and then your carry gets caught out that one time. You know, it's a 60-minute game. Your carry gets caught out that one time. They die, and then the other team's like, "Oh crap! Let's just go ahead and push." And then boom, you guys lose the game. So, always keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. And actually brings me to another point. There was actually a comment somebody made talking about they really hate the fact that games last like 70 minutes long, and then you lose the game. And then it's all over. Everything went to waste. To that person, whoever said that, you can always adopt the push strategy. The push strat. There was a match that I casted before, a random pubcast. I gotta go find it so I can tell that person which one it was. But it was a random pubcast I casted before. Basically, a push strat is if you don't win in the first 30 minutes, you're pretty much gonna lose because you're going to be out-leveled by everybody on the other team. You're going to be out-farmed by everybody on the team. Because when you're playing a push strat, you're typically doing 5-man. But anyway, let me explain that a little bit later. Let me go ahead and introduce these players since everybody's up here. We have, as you can see, the Medusa. On this Medusa, we have Rody Skinny, or Rody Sinkney. Moving on to this Kunkka, Captain Kakunka, because he has 2 Ks in his name, Kakunka. We have Elogoyan on that Kunkka. Moving on back to the base, we have Hook on that Gyrocopter. I like saying Gyrocopter better than Gyro. And it can be pronounced either way, but Gyrocopter sounds cooler. Gyrocopter is like moving on to the silencer, we have Z-Brat or Z-Brat KO on that silencer, or Z-Braddock. I don't know. I really need to figure out how to pronounce that. Moving on to this Doombringer, we have Tiny New on that Doombringer, and that rounds up the Radiant side. Moving on to the Dire side, we have the Big Bang with 2 Gs, so he's saying the Big Bang GG on that Weaver. We have something I can't pronounce because I don't know how to pronounce those characters on that TA, nonetheless he is on that TA. Moving on to the Joe Ranger, we have Fear Win on that Joe Ranger. Captain Optimus, or oh gosh, Captain Obvious, not obvious, but Captain Obvious on that Clinks. So he's obviously going to be playing a carry. See what I did there, guys. Moving on to Lena, we have Novila or Novalai on that Lena. And that pretty much rounds out all the call outs. So let me go ahead and bring up these last hits to denies, because that's the most important thing to see the first on. This is double damage on top of Doombringer. Doombringer builds up 2 ringer protections. I think I've seen this a few times. He's going to be going for those Tranquil boots. He's also going to be going for going to be going for that Basilius, so he gets 2 ringer protection, so he has that little bit extra armor, and also so he can build those items without having to go back to base. Anyway, Ash, you suck. Okay, there's no Ash in this game. Oh gosh. Okay, we have somebody who's coming from League of Legends apparently. So Gyrocopter's just saying Ash, you suck. That's not Ash, it's Joe Ranger. Big difference, guys. Big difference. There's no giant arrow for a Joe Ranger. If there was, this game would be so super broken. But anyway, we have. As far as the lane matchups go, we have Medusa Kunkka top versus a Clinks Lena. I think Clinks Lena will definitely be having a better time in this lane than those 2 will. Medusa needs a crap load of farm in order for her to do anything. And also Kunkka, he can't really get in all that close because Clinks was just destroying with his flaming arrows. Moving on to the mid lane. Yes, moving on to the mid lane, we have a Gyrocopter versus apparently Ash. It's not Ash, it's Joe Ranger. It's totally Joe Ranger. Gyrocopter versus Joe Ranger. And going down to the bottom lane, we have a little bit of damage going on top of the Weaver, but Weaver's able to get out alive. He has a little bit of regen. He will be getting that disable on top of him. A few more auto attacks, and he'll be going down. And there's his last word thrown on top of Weaver. Weaver will be dying to that last word. Silencer is able to get the first blood. Meanwhile, Medusa's going down top. She goes down to a Searing Arrow. And Clinks, we might see Clinks go down. Come on, Cookie, you can do it. One more auto attack. He gets the last auto attack on top of Clinks, and he gets a kill on top of that. So all in all, definitely in favor of the Radiant, of course. That early engagement, first blood going to Silencer and 2 kills going their way as well. Well, okay, not 2 kills. Being able to trade a Medusa for a Clinks, I guess is kind of worth it. Although Medusa needs a lot more farm than Clinks does. At least they got something out of it, guys. At least they got something out of it. Typically, you want to keep your carry alive for as long as possible. But anyway, that's all besides the point. This Silencer looks like he's going to be playing a supportive role, more supportive role than a carry role. It can go either way. It works both ways. Meanwhile, we got Kunkka taking some damage up top. Clinks is trying to do a little bit of damage. Clinks is harassing a little bit with his Searing Arrows. I've heard it said somewhere. I'm not sure if I agree with them. I'm not sure what my personal opinion is on it. But Searing Arrows level 3 is where you want to start harassing at. Next up is Huskar. His Flaming Arrows. Flaming Arrows level 3 because they actually do worthwhile damage. That could be the same thing for Searing Arrows. Searing Arrows does 50 damage at max level. Meanwhile, we got a Clinks rotating towards middle. He looks like he's going to be going for a gank. He does not have his skeleton walk just yet. He found himself a regen room. He's going to let the Drow Ranger pick it up by the looks of it. And I'm actually going to take a look at the items real quick. We're going to follow his Clinks. Clinks looking a little suspicious to me. As far as the items go, yeah, regen on everybody. Big surprise. Medusa has herself a Basilius. Is it on? Is a big question. Regeneration. So Medusa's Basilius is on. One thing. Oh, wait, hold on. We got engagement going on. Clink's trying to go toe to toe with Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter will be winning this fight because Clink does not have his invisibility, and also because Gyrocopter is able to activate his homing missile and his rockets, basically just destroying everybody. Meanwhile, Joe Ranger's come around the corner a little bit too late to actually help out with anything, so she's gonna go ahead and run back onto middle, continue farming. Why not? But talking about the Ring of Basilius, whenever you buy a Ring of Basilius, please turn it off, because what it does is it pushes your lane, because your creeps, like you can see, Doomburger's creeps is getting that extra. Oh, never mind, he's dead. Okay, let's check it right here, because Doombringer has a Ring of Basilius. His creeps are getting that extra armor, the extra 2 armor, versus the enemy's creeps who have 0 armor. So wait, whoa, wrong one. Sorry, range creep. So the range creep is getting 0 armor on the dire side. The range creep on the radiant side is getting +2 armor. That means there's more armor. That means the creeps on the side of the radiant are more tanky. They're going to be pushing their lanes, or they're going to be pushing forward more and more. But as far as how the lane is going, like the dire aren't really making the radiant pay for it. But pretty much the dire are getting actually able to keep up with farm because these guys are pushing so hard. Same thing with the top lane. Medusa has a Ring of Basilius all into this lane. It's continuously pushing towards the dire side, which the dire are definitely happy with, especially Clinks. Clinks loves that. Clinks is to stand back, throw a few Searing Arrows, and get a few last hits. So all this goes a long way to say, if you have generally auras are frowned upon, especially in the early game. For any lane you're in, mid, even if you're by yourself, and Gyrocopter's building stuff, treads, and oh, okay, that's weird. He has a Blaze of Attack, he also has a Belt of Strength. I'm not too sure what's he building, that's a little bit indecision. If he would have just went one way, he would have had both of them, or he would have had one or the other by now. Definitely if he would have not built that Belt of Strength, he would have definitely had those face boots. Depends on what he's going for. Meanwhile, we got Gyrocopter going to go toe-to-toe with Joe Ranger. Joe Ranger will be losing this fight. She goes down to the rocket. Oh, no, she doesn't. One more auto attack. Oh, he misses. He hits again. And the magic wand is popped by the Joe Ranger. And Gyrocopter's mad. Gyrocopter's angry. Meanwhile, we got 2 DCs coming on the side of the dire. That's not good at all. Okay, there we go. We got one reconnect coming in. Hopefully, we get the other reconnect. And Joe Ranger is able to stay alive because of her salve and because Gyrocopter missed that first auto attack. That's another fact I can throw out there. If you're ranged and you're attacking from high ground to low ground or low ground to high ground, you have a 25% chance to miss. So build an MKB and be happy. No, don't build an MKB just for that. But you do have that chance. Meanwhile, we got a Gaze going on bottom. TA's taking she's going to be taking a lot of damage from these two. There's a level death on top of her, but she's able to throw out the refraction just in time. So she blocks Silencer's damage, and Silencer takes a lot of damage from that tower. As far as what the item builds goes, because I haven't finished looking at it, Gyrocopter is still a little bit indecision. I'm trying to figure out what he's going to be going for. Doombringer is close to his Tranquil Boots that he really wants, so that way he can stop stop buying healing salves. Let's see, Kunkka has a healing salve and boots. He's trying to build the phase boots as well. And we had an item come to Clinks. What do we have come to Clinks? Clinks has a Wraith Band, so he's looking to do more damage. A Ring of Aquila finally up on Medusa, so Medusa is getting a little bit more farm than Clinks. Clinks has died a few more times than her, and then Medusa has. Where is it? Kills, that's an assist. Clinks has died a few more times too versus Medusa's one time. Although he does have a kill, it doesn't really matter. Whenever you're dead, you're not getting experience when you're in lane. So dying is usually bad, especially if you're the carry, because you want to stay in lane as long as possible. You want to build all the HP regen, all the mana regen possible, and then stay in lane. Okay, I take it back. You don't actually want to do that. That's actually a bad idea. But anyway, Gyrocops is going to go toe-to-toe with Joe Ranger. He has his ulti. Joe Ranger will be going down one way or another, but Gyrocops will be losing his life as well. Oh god, never mind. I overestimated the damage that Gyrocops will be outputting. And this Gyrocops getting a little bit mad. So, what is the moral of the story, guys? I think I saw earlier whenever Gyrocops was able to get the kill on top of Clinks, when he's going toe-to-toe, he's typed in "you mad." The goal of this story, or the moral of the story, is basically have manners and the Dota gods will favor you. So bad manners equals you not really cashing in on all the kills that you want to cash in on and not getting anything. So be a nice person. Just be a nice person. In general, it helps out the community. And that's pretty much all I'll say about that. That's not what's happening in the game. Move on to the game. Let's take a look at the gold graph. The gold graph is in favor of the Radiant because the Radiant have been farming like crazy. Medusa has been getting free farm up top for the most part. Her last hits are... Wow, okay, never mind. Yeah, she's been getting last hit, but she's been getting free farm, but she doesn't really have that free farm. Let me just go and take a look at the last hits. Yeah, there's like not a lot of last hits so far. Typically about the 20-minute, or not 20-minute mark, typically about the 8-minute mark, you usually see like people like 30 last hits or 40 or something like that. But last hitting is difficult. So relatively speaking, Medusa is kind of high on that graph, but not by much. Clinks is coming around the corner. Clinks activates Invisible. Gyrocops is going on top of Lina. Lina will be going down to the last auto attack. Meanwhile, on the backside, we got Clinks getting a kill on top of Medusa. Not good at all, and he just goes invisible and runs away. So they were able to get the Lina, but they lost the Medusa, which is not a good trade at all. Support for a Medusa.
Top tower is under attack.
Not a fair trade at all. As far as how Silencer is building, Silencer is in fact building himself carry style. I did overestimate, or usually when you see Silencer build a carry style, he gets at least 1 point in his Glaive of Wisdom. Because Glaive of Wisdom is not retroactive, and whenever you get a kill with a Glaive of Wisdom, you steal 2 intelligence, I think, from per person. Yeah, you permanently steal 2 intelligence from that person, and they've been getting a lot of kills down here. So that's a lot of intelligence that these guys have been missing out on. So Silencer, if you're ever going to be playing carry again or carry style, definitely put at least 1 point in that Glaive of Wisdom, because like I said, it's not retroactive. Just to explain what retroactive means, Pudge's Flesh Heap is retro. Oh no, we got engagement going. We got Cuckoo trying to go toe to toe with the Clinks. Clinks will be killing him. And there's a salve coming. There's a rocket coming in from Gyrocops. Clinks is out of mana. He will be going down. Oh man, it's highly possible that if he would have turned around and just took it on the tower, he might have been able to survive. But it's a level 3 salve, so the minimum damage it would have done was 50. I think Clinks had less than 50 health, so he probably still would have died. But anyway, like I was saying about the Glaive of Wisdom, Pudge's Flesh Heap is retroactive. What that basically means is he doesn't have to put a point in it. He'll always get his stat count will always count up. But as soon as he gets that ability, then it's all applied to him, so he gets to take advantage of all that magic resistance and HP regen. I think that's what it is for Pudge. But on the other side, Silencer's Glaive of Wisdom is not retroactive, so it's not building stacks. He has to put a point in it early if he's planning on getting a lot of kills. And this lane has been a kill lane. There are 3 kills on top of Silencer. How many kills on Doombringer? Doombringer has 2 assists. So okay, 3 kills down bottom. So that's 6 intelligence that Silencer's missing out on. That's basically 450 gold that could have been saved. I'm basically basing it off of Robe of the Magi. Robe of the Magi gives you 6 intelligence, so that's 450 gold that he could have had. Or sorry, a 450 gold item that he could have had for free. All he had to do is just waste 1 skill point. Also, another thing, as far as carry silencers go, you usually see carry silencer never get a point. And Curse of the Silence is cool and all, but if you're gonna be playing carry style, Glaive of Wisdom is much more better. Yes, that's right, folks. I said much more better. It's much more better for you to have. And also, Last Word, Max and Last Word. Last Word's a really nice nuke. It will do its damage regardless if they use its ability or not. And if they don't use the ability, that's even better. But anyway, we have Weaver. He gets Curse of Silence, and he goes down to the Silencer. Silencer proving me to not know what I'm talking about. He's so OP. Silencer needs to build himself regen. He has a clarity. He needs to build himself HP and mana regen. Scythe of Vise is usually used for that, or just build some intelligence, because intelligence is really good on Silencer, because he's an intelligence hero. And now he's out of mana for anything. Meanwhile, Kuka's coming around the middle. He has an illusion room. Joe Ranger might be in a little bit of trouble. I don't think she'll be able to escape for this. She's trying to kill Medusa. Here comes Kuka around the corner, and there's Medusa's silence. There's a boat coming from the backside. Boat just barely misses, and Joe Ranger's in a lot of trouble. She will be going down one way or another. There's a salve, and he gets a kill. Now these guys will be retreating. The middle tower will be getting sieged, and Silencer picked himself up a healing salve and a clarity. Please build some regen, Silencer. Silencer is building himself a mechanism, which I totally agree with. If you're going to be playing as supportive role, but I thought you were playing a carry role. I don't know. I'm kind of confused. I don't know. I guess supports can build. I guess supports can build treads too. But as far as the support Silencer, a better path is definitely to go for those arcane boots. Same thing for Lina. Like we'll probably see Lina go for arcane boots. Kunkka just barely hitting his torn on top of Lina. Lina's taking a lot of damage. She's getting chased by Kunkka and his illusions. Clicks can turn around and just turn the fight on him if he really needs to. And he's gonna go ahead and shoot him away. Gyrocopter's also up here. Meanwhile, down bottom we got the bottom tower being sieged and the engagement continuing top. Everybody silenced up, so this is really good. Very nice silence from Silencer. I'm not sure if okay, it was a little bit off time, but still doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter will be going down to the Clinks, and Kunkka might be able to kill this. Might be able to kill the Clinks. Clinks is doing so much damage that he didn't attack on the last auto attack. I think one more auto attack and he would have got the kill. But for some reason he didn't attack. I don't know.
Swiftly to the temple's defense.
It was like a slight delay between his attacks. Meanwhile, TA has herself phase boots, and the courier for Diary did go down. I did not see that. I missed that completely. But anyway, items, as far as the rest of the items go, Doombringer has himself a Vanguard, so he's looking to build as much regen as possible. I would much prefer to see him build some form of damage at least, especially if he's going to be doing that. He has Tranquil Boots and a Vanguard. I personally don't think he really needs both. If you have Tranquil Boots, that's decent regen. Definitely Vanguard on Doombringer is really good. And Tranquil Boots you can disassemble, so I guess I shouldn't be complaining too much. But still, at least turn your Basilius off. I will complain about that. At least turn your Basilius off. Same thing for Ring of Aquila. Ring of Aquila gives your creeps that 2 armor. So this wave will be pushing a little bit harder than that wave. Meanwhile, we got the ulti coming in from Medusa. She's purged on top of the Weaver. Weaver's in a lot of trouble. He can't just ulti to get his HP back, but he doesn't really need it. And the salve will still be hitting him, which is actually pretty funny. Oh man, he takes a lot of damage from that.
Middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, her TA trap on the low ground for the ward spot, and Doombringer's in the jungle farming. Mid tower is getting sieged. It will be going down unless the Diary can respond fast enough. Medusa ulti is on cooldown. Kuka's boat is up. He can't use it if he has to. He drops the boat. That's a little inopportune direction. He should have thrown it the way he was running, but he will be dying regardless. So he goes down. Gyrocopter ulti coming from the back, coming from the front side, catching everybody. Slow catching everybody with the damage, and now Gyrocopter trying to be taking down the Joe Ranger. Ulti from Lina, beautiful ulti from Lina, doing a lot of damage to Gyrocopter, and Medusa's coming around side. If only she had her ulti, right? If only she had her ulti. She does not have Mystic Snake. That's a huge mistake. Mystic Snake is an extremely good skill for Medusa to have. Way more useful, especially early game, than your split shot. Split shot is only good when you do damage. So typically you see split shot ignored completely until towards the end. Anyway, Silencer's going to go on the Clinks, and now he's going to find out that he's made a bad choice. Joe Ranger will be permanent chasing him, and Clinks will be turning around trying to do damage. And now Silencer will be going down. He does have that head dress up, so he has a little bit of regen, but it's not enough. It's not even clear enough. But anyway, going back to Medusa, Medusa's Mystic Snake is probably her most useful skill. Especially if you're still trying to farm. And Medusa needs a lot of farm, so if you're playing Medusa and you're not trying to farm, then you're doing it wrong. So split shot, it only gives you a split of, or when at max level, it gives you 80% damage for every split that it does. And 80%, yeah, that's a really good number. That's a high number. I'll give you that. And you're hitting 5 targets total. But you're only Medusa's only doing 100 damage right now. 100 damage, 80% of 100 damage is only 80 damage, so she needs to build up her damage first. She also needs to build up something else, as opposed to just getting a Mystic Snake. If she gets a Mystic Snake does 200 damage on the first hit, and I think it increases in damage when he goes down. Meanwhile, we got an engagement on Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter gets caught out. He goes down to the Clinks, and Clinks goes down to the Kunkka. So Clink's killing spree is ended. And where's this tornado coming from? Is that Doombringer? Yeah, Doombringer just trolling with this tornado. He's scouting while he can. Weaver's gonna go ahead and run away. He will be fine. He's gonna go run away. But anyway, as a Medusa, please do not put so many points aside split shot. Do not max split shot second. Don't do that, guys. That's a terrible idea. That's a very bad thing to do. She doesn't nearly do enough damage to take advantage of it at all. There's a Medusa ulti thrown on top of everybody. There's a Silencer. Silencer will be he will not be getting this kill. Never mind. Unless the Silencer will be getting the kill, but Weaver did pop a spell, so he was not taking a dot anymore. But yeah, I pretty much already said everything I was gonna say about split shot. Just don't max at it so early. Mystic Snake, maxing Mystic Snake first, and then maxing your mana shield, or maxing your mana shield and then Mystic Snake. Either or, those are much better alternatives Split shot, like I said, you need a lot of farm. You need a lot of damage in general to make it useful. So right now Medusa is splitting 80% of damage, or 80% of, what's it, 75 plus 18. 80% of 75 plus 18 is not a lot, and now she's going to build herself a quarterstaff. She's trying to build a butterfly. I don't really know how much more I will say on that. Anyway, Clinks finds himself a Kunkka. Kunkka throws out the Torrent. He will be going for the Clinks. Clinks is not going down. There we go. Clinks might be going down. There's an ulti coming from Silencer. Silencer a little bit disjointed with that. He needs to throw that Curse of Silence. He might be able to get the kill, but no, it's not enough. Clinks is a little too fast. He's running away. Why is he so small? Was it just me, or was he tiny? Maybe it's because he was damaged. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, there you go. The Mystic Snake. So the Mystic Snake's thrown out. It bounces on everybody. Gives her mana back, which actually makes her mana shield do a lot of damage. Doombreaker finally going down, taking a lot of damage to go down. That Vanguard, that was that 30 block, I think it gives. It gives 30 block, 70% chance for a 20 block maybe. Oh, okay, 70% chance for 40 block, which is pretty good. Anyway, we have a Gyrocopter illusion trying to do a little bit. He's trying to harass a little bit. Jordan's gonna go in on it. She kills the illusion. She silences the illusion because she doesn't want that illusion to do anything, even though it couldn't do anything to begin with. And now we got the top lane. Whoa, we got a lot of damage being done to Weaver. Weaver could just ulti to go back, but he's out of mana, so he can't just ulti. Meanwhile, Medusa's gonna be taking a lot of damage. Gyrocopter doing what he can. Very nice play by Gyrocopter, throwing the silence, or throwing the stun on top of Joe Ranger, and Joe Ranger standing still for his convenience. And they can deny this tower. No, they can't. This tower needs to take 20 more damage before they can deny it. Towers have to be 10% below, or at 10% of their remaining health before you can start attacking yourself to deny it. So that tower is at 150 HP. It needs to be at 130, because 10% of 1,300 is 130. Go figure, right? And then we're going to take a look at the items. As far as the item progression goes, Silencer's still trying to build himself that mechanism because he wants to be a support for his team. This is a Daedalus. Looks like a Daedalus coming up on Kunkka. I do not agree with building Daedalus so fast. Or at least build something else like a drum or something. Drum is really nice on Kunkka. It's so fun. So fun to use. Meanwhile, we got a little bit of engagement going on top. We got Clinks trying to go toe to toe with Silencer. Clinks will be losing this fight because support comes in the backside from Silencer. And Clinks goes down to what looks like neutral, or looks like the creeps. So, and Medusa's on a bad spot. Medusa, you need to run. Okay, Medusa's finally going to run. Luckily, TA is not playing as aggressively as she should. TA could have potentially won in and got a kill on that, especially with the Joe Ranger Lena there back to the support. Now we got to push on the top tower. The top tower is taking a lot of damage from these guys. It will be going down. Will they continue to push? I think they should. They could easily trade this middle tower for that one. Medusa can defend this, but she needs to time her ulti. She will be able to use her ulti whenever these guys get close enough. If she can delay it a little bit and let everybody TP in, then it'll be good. But now this is going to go for a kill. There's ulti coming from Lena. Now Medusa's out of mana, and Medusa goes down. That's one of the drawbacks of Medusa's mana shield. Basically, if you permanently leave it on, you will be burning mana when you don't really need to. I think Medusa would have survived if she would have just took that Lena ulti and then used her ulti. She would have got away. Oh my gosh, beautiful Torrent coming from Kunkka. Beautiful Torrent coming from Kunkka, catching 3, and there's a fail boat, but to follow up, but still beautiful Torrent. Lena is doomed, so she will be going down. She can't use any spells. TA's trying to do enough damage on top of the Silencer, but she doesn't use her, or she didn't correctly use her meld, so that didn't work out. Meanwhile, Kunkka is able to get a kill on top of the Templar Assassin. And now Weaver's coming on backside, see if he can pick him up. He might be able to go for the Silencer. Silencer's trying to run away while he can. And Weaver does have his ulti up, so Weaver can just ulti to get back away if he really needs to. He's going to do as much damage as he can. Weaver jump. Oh my gosh, Weaver incorrectly walks towards the tower. He can just ulti to get back away, get some HP back, but now it's a little too late. He might as well just go ahead and run away. Kunkka will be chasing him. Kunkka can throw out the... No, Kunkka can't. Kunkka doesn't have the Torrent. Kunkka is building a Battle Fairy. I thought he was building a... what did I say? A Daedalus. Chrysalis. Which I thought would be completely silly, so I am completely silly, guys. Ignore me, because I know nothing I'm talking about. But anyway, I would still like to see some regen. I still see healing salves on the side of Radiant, specifically on Kunkka. So healing salve, or buying so many healing salves is not a good idea. I understand Kunkka wants to hurry up and get his items, but at least build some form of regen. He is building a Battle Fury, so he will have that regen up. The Ring of Health is probably more useful to him than that Broadsword, to be honest. Broadsword only gives you to 18 damage. So building that Ring of Health first, that gives him the regen that he wants. He can save his money, or he can save his gold on healing salves. And now also, he can just go straight for that Claymore, so he'll have it'll be a more efficient item path if he goes for that. But as you see now, he still has that healing salve. That's really the only form of regen that he has. He has, to his credit, he has not bought any more regen. That's probably left over from last time. But still, the fact that he has a healing salve, that's his only source of regen, which is not reliable at all, is pretty bad. As far as Medusa goes, Medusa doesn't... Oh, okay, Medusa needs regen as well, but she doesn't have any right now. I honestly would much prefer to see her not. Actually, no.
Illusion.
Radiant's top
See,
tower
this is where things get a little touchy because I think I would prefer to see somebody get buy 100 or not buy 100. I don't know. Okay. All right. I'm gonna decide now. I would much prefer to see somebody walk around with no regen at all, as opposed to waste all your gold on healing salves and tangos. Especially if it's 30 minutes into the game. It's only 20 minutes into the game. So I'll just leave it at that. Blade Mail up on Doombringer. Doombringer is looking. Oh gosh. Okay. Doombringer is trying to build himself as beefy as possible so he can survive. But here's a problem. Like, okay, there's this assumption that you can build as a tank in Dota. I honestly don't think there's a such thing as a tank in Dota, mainly because you can build all the magic resistance, all the armor that you want. If you get caught up by 3 people, or sometimes even just 2 people, even if they're all just supports, you're still gonna die. I mean, there's no way you're gonna survive, especially if you don't do any damage. Doombringer is only doing 140 damage. It's actually pretty good, relatively speaking, considering the items that he has. I think he has the highest damage on his team. Oh no, Kunkka has a little bit higher, a tad bit higher. But he has all that tankiness, with air quotes, tankiness. But he can still die. He can still drop like a fly if he gets caught up by anybody. Weaver, wow. Oh, Joe Ranger, that's why. Speaking of which, I need to take a look at the items. Shadow Blade coming up on Joe Ranger. She will be having that momentarily. Let's see how much gold she has. She only has 400 gold right now, so she needs about 1,000 gold. Meanwhile, we got a big push on top. The rating gonna push this. Dire need to respond to this. Dire gonna go ahead and rotate. Nobody has a TP. Nobody can come in and push it back. And TA is the only one here. If she goes up, she'll be dead. Doombringer does have his ulti up, so he can use it if he really needs to. And there goes the red carpet. There goes the orange carpet. The orange juice spill by the Doombringer. He's trying to take down his tower. He's trying to do as much damage as he can. The tower is attacking him, but he has a nice amount of regen. He doesn't care. And there's an ulti coming from Silencer. Silencer, beautiful ulti on you or by you. And there's a boat thrown out by Kunkka. Very awkward position. Weaver will be going down first. And there's a there's a stun thrown on top of Joe Ranger. Joe Ranger will be going down. Ulti thrown out by Gyrocopter. He catches a lot of people. Gyrocopter taking a lot of damage, but it's not enough damage. And everybody's pretty much going to be going down. Doombringer's running in, see if he can get a last hit. And he's able to survive a mechanism pop by the Silencer. And that fight worked out heavily in favor of the Dire. Very good. Or sorry, heavily in favor of the Radiant. Extremely good ulti coming from the Silencer. He's using this ulti to initiate. I think I had a game before where there was a Silencer who didn't use his ulti to initiate. He just, oh no, maybe I don't know. Maybe it was a Panda. I don't know. It's okay. Let's assume it's a Silencer. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is when you see a big team fight like that, a perfect opportunity. You see Silencers a lot of time try to hold on to their ultis. Your ulti can also be used to initiate, not just to help your team escape. And if you can initiate like that, like you saw right there, that was a perfect initiation. Basically, he silenced everybody, and then all the abilities from his team was there to follow up and help get everybody down. Meanwhile, Clicks will be dying. Clicks will be going down. He tried to kill the Gyrocopter, but Gyrocopter doing a little bit too much damage. What is? He said Basher? Yeah, it's a bash up on Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter also building Sanj and Yasha, I'm assuming. Or maybe a Heaven's Halberd. He's getting chased by the Weaver. Weaver will be getting the kill. And there goes the Gyrocopter. But yeah, so as far as the rest of the items go, Kunkka finally has a Ring of Health, so he can stop buying healing salves, finally. He still only has the one healing salve, guys. But I mean, I'm just saying, if you have regen, you don't really have to worry about healing salves, because 5 regen per second will add up over time, especially if you just walk around. So if you're walking around for 20 seconds, that's 100 HP that you're still that's 100 HP that you're getting back for nothing. Like you're not paying any gold for it. You already paid the gold for it. And a healing salve gives you 400 HP over 10 seconds. I can do the numbers, but I'm not going to. Just know over the long run, the healing salve, or not the healing salve, the ring of health is much more efficient. Basically because 1, it never cuts off. 2, if you don't need it, then I mean, it's not going to be working on you. And 3, if somebody hits you with the auto attack, you're still going to be feeling. Meanwhile, Jordan's doing a lot of damage to herself. Blade Mail coming from, oh guys, Selena ultis on top of Blade Mail Doombringer. And now we got a games going on. We got Medusa going down pretty darn fast. And everybody's getting chased. Silencer's coming around the corner. He does have mechanism. He will be using it if he really needs to, but he doesn't need to. Doombringer moving so fast. Meanwhile, got a fight on the backside. Kunkka throws out the Torrent. Beautiful Torrent by him. He's able to land on a few. He will have his boat soon. Oh, never mind. He will not have his boat soon. But if he did have his boat, that would have been perfect initiation. Lena's taking a lot of damage. She does not go down. And there's a Doom thrown on top of Weaver. Weaver with the Doom. A Doomed Weaver is a dead Weaver, because that means he can't activate none of his abilities. He does go down to the Doom from Doombringer. This mid tower will probably be going down. Meanwhile, look at the top. We got the Mega Creeps already coming in, starting to siege this middle tower. So things are looking very dire for the Dire Wolves. So I did it, guys. But anyway, let me stop being a bad person. Take a look at the XP graph. XP graph, as I always say, XP graph is really irrelevant, because the longer the game, if the game goes on for long enough, it will go to 0. The longer the game goes, the closer it gets to 0. That's what I'm trying to say. So the XP graph is not really all that indicative of what's going on, but sorry, it's not really a good indicator of who's in favor of what, but it is a good indicator of where everybody is at the moment. Meanwhile, we got Gyrocopter taking an ulti from Lina, and Lina's taking the ulti from Gyrocopter. She will, one more auto attack, she will be dead. No, Santu will begin this kill on top of her unless she uses an ability. Doesn't matter, Santu throws out the auto attack, and he's able to get the kill on top of TA as well. And there's a double kill on top of Santu. Looking at as far as everybody else, Clinks is trying to do what he can. Clinks doesn't have anything. He's trying to build that Orchids. He was not able to ever finish it, so that's not good at all. Ulti. Yeah, a stun coming out from Gyrocopter on top of Jordan. Jordan takes a stun. She's going to chill. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter might be going down to his Clinks. Clinks is going to try to run away. Clinks will be dying to Silencer. He's so sad, and he goes down. Meanwhile, Kunkabo coming out. Kunkabo will hit. No, it doesn't matter. Silencer gets the kill. He gets a double kill, and this middle tower will be going down. This will pretty much be the end of the game, really. The Dire haven't really proved that they can push anything back, and so as far as the game's going, I mean,
Ancient is under attack.
as far as the game's going, there's not much hope for the Dire to come back. The Ancients under attack. They weren't ever really able to take much of anything. And let me take one last look at the items and the gold graph. Gold graph heavily in favor of the Radiant. Go figure, right? Actually, that's a lot. That's a lot of gold in favor of them. Look at these kills. Oh my gosh, all those kills. Are you kidding me? That is a lot of kills. But anyway, okay, so this game was sent in by the Silencer. This Silencer was the one, or he sent in another video before. He played a Panda, Brewmaster. Sorry, he played Brewmaster, and I think one of my critiques that I gave to him last time was that he needs to use his ulti to initiate, especially when playing Brewmaster. But that was Brewmaster, not Silencer. But anyway, he did use his ulti to initiate. I was very happy to see that. So Silencer, well played on you. As far as critiques for everybody else, as far as Silencer goes, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I was a little confused on what you were building at the very beginning of the game. You did build the mechanism for your team, so you were playing a more supportive role, and then towards the end, you started becoming more of a carry style. But your lane was going heavily in favor of you guys. I would have preferred to see, that's me personally, I would have preferred to see at least 1 point inside of your Glaive of Wisdom, so that way you would be getting free experience, or sorry, free intelligence. Let's assume you did that early before any kill happened. You would have 24 free intelligence right now. And 24 is not really all that big of a deal, but every little bit helps. It made your kills a little bit easier to get. It also made your Glaive of Wisdom hit a little bit harder. That's what I'm trying to say. But you did build the mechanism. You were playing a supportive role for your team. Okay, cool. You also. Yeah, you took a lot of build your regen. Usually the bucklers are more expensive. The buckler gives you armor, but I don't know. I mean, me personally, because I always talk about regen anyway, so of course I'm going to say the regen item is a better item to go for. That headdress, I personally would have went for the headdress first, but it doesn't matter. You got the mechanism anyway, so you did build well. You were playing some more supportive role. Beautiful ultis by you, from what I remember, except for one where you ulted and everybody just ran away. So that happens sometimes. It happens. You can't win them all, right? But really nice ulti on the top tower, though. That was a really good team fight. Your team won that fight because you ultied. No, there was no other reason why your team won that team fight. If you had an ulti, they might have won a little bit differently. You guys probably still won, but still. Your ulti did help out immensely. Moving on to Medusa. As far as Medusa goes, split shot is not useful early game. I will repeat that. Split shot is not useful early game. 1 point in split shot, sure. 2 points, really why? 3 points, you really don't need it. Maxing it first, don't ever do that. Please don't ever do that. Early on, Medusa has like 0 damage. It's like, okay, I could look up her numbers, but I don't feel like it. But long story short, split shot needs to be at max level for it to be efficient at all. 80% damage is still like 20% damage that you're missing, but it's hitting everybody. So that's really cool when you're doing a lot of damage. I repeat, that's really cool when you're doing a lot of damage. At the point where you had split shot max, you had phase boots and a ring of Aquila, and your damage was like something pretty bad, like 75 plus 18. That's the only number I remember. So what is that? That is 90 something, 93. So you hit a 93, and then 80% of 93 is definitely not a lot. That's like below. What is that? That's below 80, of course. Okay, cool. For simplification reasons, let's say it was 70 damage. So you're doing 70 damage in a giant AoE. So 1, you were pushing lanes. 2, when you were attacking heroes and people and stuff, you weren't really doing that much damage to begin with. So your split shot was almost always on. And 3, your Mystic Snake would have been much more useful. It's much more damage efficient in my personal opinion. Even though it costs mana, you can spam it out a lot, and it does enough damage to keep people fiend away, and also gives you mana back to fill your mana shield. Speaking of mana shield, you left your mana shield on for a long time. You left your mana shield on for almost the entire game, which mana shield's a really nice item for you to stay alive. I understand. It also keeps you alive as well, but you also have to consider the fact that whenever somebody attacks you with an ability, you will be losing your mana. There was one specific team fight, or there was one specific time mid where we all saw it. I think I called it out too, where you basically had just barely enough mana for your ulti, and you had your mana shield up, and Lena just walked up to you, ultied, and then you instantly had no mana for it, so you were pretty much doomed to begin with. Sometimes using your mana shield is not really necessary. I think, especially while you're farming, if you're just farming the lane and you're not really in any trouble, just turn your mana shield off. You don't really need it, because you never know when somebody might come around the back corner and then use an ability or use a stun that does a lot of damage. You can just kind of take that damage and then activate your mana shield and then run away, proceed to run away. That way you'll still have a relatively large mana pool, or sorry, more mana pool than you would if you would had it on all the time. And two, if the creeps were, or if you did draw creep aggro, then the creeps wouldn't be draining your mana, so you wouldn't be wasting your mana. And speaking of which, you didn't really have. Oh, okay, you had a ring of Aquila, so that was a decent mana regen. So okay, I'll back off on that point I was about to make. I was about to say you didn't really have any good mana regen, but you had decent mana regen with a ring of Aquila. But yeah, max split shot last. Please max split shot last. If the situation occurs that you are doing so well in the game that you have those big items really early, then sure, go ahead. By all means, go ahead and max your split shot before you finish maxing your Mystic Snake. But definitely don't max it so fast, especially if you don't have any points at all in your Mystic Snake. Your Mystic Snake is so useful. It does two things. One, it does a lot of damage. Two, it does three things. One, it does a lot of damage, relatively speaking. Two, everything's relative, guys. But two, because Dota's one of those games where it depends on situation, so everything is relatively speaking. Anyway, two, it bounces on people, so it hits multiple targets. And three, whenever it returns to you, it gives you more mana, so it fills your mana shield. So it'll basically keep you alive a little bit longer. It'll give you that burst mana when you really need it. So you can just throw the snake on top of a bunch of heroes, steal their mana, and then give them, or steal their HP and mana, or do some damage and steal their HP, and do some damage and steal their mana, and then give the mana back to you. So definitely look into putting more points in Mystic Snake. As far as, oh, and one last thing, please build some form of regen. Medusa's a very fragile hero. That's why you see Lincoln Sphere is one of her recommended items. That's mainly for the sole fact that it has a ultimate orb and also has some good regen in it inside the item. The ultimate orb really helps you stay alive, and the mana regen and the HP regen are definitely useful. Mana regen is so good on Medusa, it's not even funny. Basically, if say you had like 20 mana regen, and one day I'll explain this in more detail. I don't know when, but say you had like 20 mana regen, and someone was doing damage to you. Your ability was your mana shield. Your mana shield would block some of that damage as well, or as you're taking damage. And also after it blocks it, it'll be regenerating at the same time. So you'll be I think what they said they would call it leveraging your mana. You can basically leverage your survivability by just having a high amount of mana regen, which doesn't really always work all the time, but still, it's something cool to think about. Definitely have a little bit more mana regen than just a Ring of Aquila. Moving on to Kunkka. Kunkka, you built a Battle Fury. That actually came out wrong. I wasn't saying that condescendingly. I was saying that more so question markish, because I'm not sure how I want to approach this point. Basically, you had healing salves for a long time. You had that one healing salve. I don't think you bought a healing salve every single time. You could have used it and then bought another one. I don't know. I didn't see it. But long story short, you still have a healing salve, and this game lasted about 30 minutes long, or 30 minutes. And you have a Battle Fury as well. If you're going to build for that Battle Fury, and you know that you're going to be building for that Battle Fury, and you know that you need some regen, because everybody needs regen, then go ahead and build that Ring of Health. The Ring of Health before damage is definitely a good item, or definitely a good way to go, especially if you're playing that carry role. Basically, for two reasons. One, the Ring of Health will give you that sustainability in lane. And two, if you're going to be playing that carry role anyway, you want to farm for a long time, so you're not really trying to look to move anywhere. So you staying in lane and being able to stay in your lane and do all that stuff, that'll save your gold, and also get you prepped to build that Battle Fury. Instead of building a broadsword for 18 extra damage, you can just go ahead and build a Ring of Health. I mean, I'm pretty just going to say Ring of Health a whole bunch of times, because regen, as you guys are probably starting to learn, I think regen is the most important thing in the game, next to mechanics and communication and other stuff. But regen's on the top part of the list. So if you're going to be building a Battle Fury, which you did build a Battle Fury, I personally don't understand why you did not build it or build the Ring of Health and stop building salves, because let's just assume that you were using that salve and you were rebuying every time you went to the base, and you went to base, let's say you went to base 6 times in this entire game. That's 600 gold that could have went towards your Ring of Health. That's 600 gold that could have went towards your the Void Stone. That's 600 gold that could have went towards anything. That's 600 gold you could have saved. All you had to do is just buy the Ring of Health early, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. So that's all I really have to say about that. Move on to Doombringer. Doombringer, you built Tranquil Boots and you built the Vanguard. I personally don't think you need both, but then again, I can't really complain much, because Tranquil Boots can be taken apart and you can, you know, rearrange your items, do some cute stuff with that. You can build a Vlad's later if you really wanted to. You can build something else if you really wanted to. But initially when I saw it, I thought it was weird when I saw you get Tranquil Boots and then you got a Vanguard. But then again, like I said, it doesn't really matter. Regen is really good, but just I just want to make sure that you're not trying to look into building the tanker style with air quotes, because there's, to be honest, in my personal opinion, there's no such thing as a tank in Dota. Sorry, Dota 2. Maybe Centaur. Centaur's the closest one. You probably could argue, yeah, Centaur, he has a lot of strength gain, and if you build a lot of resistance on him, you build a lot of physical armor on him, he'll be definitely hard to kill, so he'll be a tank with air quotes. But still, even with Centaur, I mean, if Centaur gets caught out by 3 people, even if they're all just supports, he will still pretty much go down, especially if he gets perma-stunned. Anybody who's stunned, doesn't matter, you're going to be going down. So please don't get into the mentality of building tank. Just get into the mentality of saying, okay, my team needs this. My team needs somebody to be in the front lines. Okay, cool. Okay, sure. You can be in the front lines. You can build that Vanguard. You can build that Blade Mail. So you can be in the front lines and, you know, keep people alive, but just don't call it a tank. Don't get in that mentality, because that mentality leads to bad things. I'm trying to think of a personal example that I had before. Okay, no, I got one. Nope, I don't have one. I can make up one, though. Okay, say I was playing Tidehunter. If I was playing Tidehunter can play that tanker role pretty good. He's just a walking ulti anyway. Oh, okay, the way I built him, he's just a walking ulti. So, if I was playing him and I built a whole bunch of HP, I built like 5 hearts and... Wow, 5 hearts. I built 4 hearts and some boot to travel and, what else I built? And I built myself a mechanism. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of HP and armor. So then somebody just walks along and just does some magic damage to me, and it's all gone. I mean, that's really the end of the story. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are expecting more from me for that story, but that's pretty much the end of the story. Basically, building a lot of HP is not necessarily saying you're a tanker role. Building armor and building magic resistance is the way to go if you're trying to build that harder to kill role. I just don't like the word of tank, because I think it's misleading. When people say, "Oh yeah, I'm building a tanker role. I'm gonna be the tank for my team." Please, God. It just sounds weird to me, because there's no such thing. If you get caught out, regardless of how much HP you have or how much magic resistance or how much armor you have, the enemy team will find a way to kill you. So just don't get into mentality. But all in all, you did play well. You were playing that frontline role, so I understand you. You did have the Blade Mail. Blade Mail makes sense on you. Vanguard makes sense on you. Tranquil Boots makes sense because you can transition to something else if you really need to later. So I mean, I just don't want anybody to get into that mentality of tank. That is my personal prejudice on the term. Anyway, moving on to Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter. The only thing I really have to say is just mannerism. Please play nicer. You threw out a few taunts to the enemy team. I personally don't like throwing out taunts unless... No, I just don't like throwing out taunts. It just makes people feel bad. Even if you're just doing well, if somebody dies, like if you get that fight you had a rune, or at the rune spot with Clinks, and Clink was trying to do damage to you, but you killed him before he could kill you, and then you typed in "you mad." I did not approve of that. I frown on that personally, but that's probably because I'm one of those white knights on the internet, and the internet plus white knights is not a good thing. That usually is the flaming and stuff. But anyway, all that aside, you did play relatively well. You did throw a few really good ultis. I keep calling them salves. Your homing missiles, that's what it's called. Your homing missiles were really good, and you were doing a lot of damage, despite your item build. So well played on you. And when I say despite your item build, I mean you didn't really have any damage item in your build. That's what I meant by that. Moving on to the dire side, TA, you built a blink dagger towards the end. You had phase boots and branches for the longest. If you're trying to build something that badly, then don't build a blink dagger, because blink dagger just makes you, or blink dagger gives you one thing. It gives you the ability to move really fast into the middle of the fight, or move really fast away if you don't get hit. So I did see, like, towards the end of the game, you did have phase boots and 3 branches, and you had that for the longest. If you're dying and you're not able to get the gold, or if you're not focusing on all that or farming up, because your gold per minute was 180. Oh my God, hold on. Whoa, your gold per minute was 180. Let me give me a minute. I'm gonna calculate this since I got all the time in the world. Let's see. 180. Oh, okay, that's not what I'm gonna do. Blink dagger costs. Let's say blink dagger costs 250, 25. I don't know. 2,500. No. 2,000. Okay, fine. I'll look it up. Didn't want to do this because it's gonna take a while. Anyway, Dota 2 blink dagger. Alright, so once I get that price, basically what I'm trying to say is if you're not going to focus, like, hurry up and get that blink dagger, because the earlier that you get it, the more kill potential you have early on, and the more you'll be able to use it, the more effective you'll be in your fights. And just waiting that long, like, just committing so hard to that blink dagger was not a good choice at all. You were basically dropping like a fly every time somebody caught you out. Even though you only have 4 deaths, you were still dropping like a fly. Pretty much, if somebody came around the corner and you took a little bit of damage, you had to run away. So that basically means you weren't helping your team do anything. You weren't really helping engage at all. You weren't reaching your full potential so early. So definitely, if you're trying to build a blink dagger, by the way, blink dagger costs 2,150. So if you're trying to build a blink dagger and you're so determined to build one, just like go AFK farm and build it. And your team will complain, but once you get a blink dagger, you'll be able to come in and help everybody get a kill. But anyway, so see, it'll take you, or with your current gold per minute, it took you 12 minutes to get a blink dagger, to get enough gold for a blink dagger. That's mainly because you weren't really last hitting, you weren't really involved in many kills and all, and that happens, I understand, but that's a lot of gold, and that's a lot of time to be waiting for the gold. Just to put that in perspective, 12 minutes in this 27-minute game is almost half the game. So so definitely build some intermediate items. Definitely build something else. Build a bracer if you have to. Build a drum. I really don't know what TA builds. I'm confused on TA's builds as well. But rushing straight for the blink. If you're gonna rush for a blink dagger, is a reason why I say rushing for it, because you need as fast as possible for it. So that way you can do damage before they get enough damage to do enough damage back to you and kill you before you can do your damage. So moving on to Weaver. What did I see? Well, I mean, just a lot of bad positioning, which is actually pretty bad, to be honest. I'll say 2 things, and then I'll leave that topic of Weaver, because Weaver is another one of those people who confuse me as well. 2 things. First thing, bad positioning with Weaver. If you have bad positioning with Weaver, that's not good at all. That means you need to just hold on. Let me think about how I'm gonna say this. Bad positioning on Weaver should not happen, because Weaver has Sakuchi, which is almost the ultimate positioning ability. You can basically use it every 6 seconds, 6 seconds, and then run over to a corner and then attack, and then 6 seconds later run over to another corner and attack, and you can get the best positioning possible because of your ability, Sakuchi. Sakuchi's so good with positioning that it's not even funny. That said, if you're bad with positioning as Weaver, that means Okay. Before I finish the statement, positioning is one of those things that you learn the more you play. So just keep playing Dota, you'll learn. Keep playing Weaver. I highly encourage you to keep playing the same person to get used to them, to get used to the inner workings, to get used to how to use them, and how to take advantage of the abilities. That said, if you're bad at position with Weaver, then that's not good at all. That means your opponent's going to be dying a lot, and you're going to be feeding. Which, I mean, 6 deaths is not really feeding. Well, actually, no. Relatively speaking, this game, yeah, 6 deaths is kind of feeding, but. And also feeding is another one of those words I don't really like. But anyway, so being bad with positioning when you're using Weaver, that's kind of a sign of just inexperience with the hero. So just keep playing the hero, get used to him. I highly encourage you to do that. Just keep going. But please use that Sakuchi for positioning, and also use it to run away if you really need to. Use it to engage if you have to. You can use it for anything. That's why Sakuchi is so good. No, also, the one last thing I'll say about Weaver, I seen a game where there was a Weaver, it was like a random pub that I watched. It wasn't a random pub cast, it was just a random pub, like back and forth I was even thinking about casting. And basically the Weaver, he built no boots at all. He had a Radiance, he had a MKB, he had a Desolator, he had pretty much all the big damage on it, a Butterfly, all that stuff. And he had no boots the entire game. What that basically told me from that day on, he also had a Manta style. So he had movement speed from that as well. So he really didn't need boots. what that told me from that point on is that because of Sakuchi, Weaver can survive with no boots. Basically meaning that you have a free inventory slot, so you can take advantage of that. So all that goes along with to say that you didn't, that from what I've seen, you did not have to build power treads. Power treads are just a luxury. Power treads, actually no, power treads are just a waste of gold. That's 1,400 gold that could have went towards something else. That's 1,400 gold that could have went towards, I don't know, whatever you wanted to build. I can't really tell what you wanted to build because you have double Wraithband, or sorry, you have a Wraithband and Ring of Aquila. So you really didn't get much farm to go anywhere, to be honest. But you could have saved 1,400 gold if you just switched over to Geico. No, I'm still but anyway, moving on. Like I said, that's all I'll say about Weaver. Moving on to Clinks. Clinks, you were a little bit more aggressive than you should have been. Clinks is a very fragile hero, just like the Medusa is. Wait, Medusa? Yeah, just like the Medusa is. So, Clinks also, Clinks is a very fragile hero, just like Medusa is, and Clinks has to be more worried about his positioning than anybody else, mainly because he can skeleton walk, whatever it's called. He can do that into a very nice position and then try to nuke down somebody or try to auto attack somebody to death before they kill, or basically assassinate them before they're able to respond. And that's cool and all, but if you're not able to get those kills, if you're not able to pick out the right people, then you're pretty much going to be going down regardless of what you do. Especially if your skeleton walk is on cooldown. Your skeleton walk is really your only means of getting away. It's also your only means of finding those people and catching them off guard. So you just got to work on positioning. If you have really good position with Clinks, you can pretty much get every single kill that you even dreamed of. I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't. So I'll just make up one. I'm imagining a game where there's a Clinks who's running around the map. You know, because of superior positioning, he's running around the map and getting all the kills on the map. That's basically the moral of the story that I was trying to look for. But like I said, I don't have any personal experiences with that. I don't remember seeing that at all. I just know that Clinks needs positioning. If you have bad positioning with Clinks, you're gonna die. I got one perfect example. Perfect example. One, I think it was you. Was it you or was it Weaver? Okay, never mind. It was Weaver. Okay, let's just apply this example of Weaver to you. So Weaver was chasing the Gyrocopter, I think, or maybe the Silencer, back towards the base. This is middle. And Weaver Sakuchi'd past the Silencer and went into tower range while he's still invisible and started attacking Silencer from there. And Weaver was, not only was Weaver invisible if you try to run away, but he was also taking damage from the tower. So that's kind of very bad positioning. That actually goes back to Weaver. Bad positioning. Work on that. So if you have bad position like that, if you're constantly getting caught in the wrong spot at the wrong time, then you're pretty much going to be going down. So be careful with your positioning. Like I said, wait, what was I saying? No. That's pretty much all I'm saying. Also, Orchids. If you're going to be building Orchids, just go AFK farm and go ahead and build that up. You with the Orchids is very powerful because you can basically silence anybody. Obviously, you can silence a Gyrocopter. You can kill him before he's able to throw the spells. You can silence a Silencer, lols, and kill him before he's able to do anything. So you can pretty much, Orchids really helps out with your killing potential, and also helps out with your mana regen because you have a lot of mana issues as a Clinks. Let me tell you, mana issues with Clinks is not even funny, especially because you're spamming your flaming arrows, searing arrows. Moving on to Draw Ranger. Draw Ranger, yeah, Draw Ranger. We need to talk. Okay, let me think. Okay, early game, to be honest, early game you were benefiting from Gyrocopter being a little bit out of position. Basically, there's one time where Gyrocopter was trying to engage on you, and you were able to get away because Gyrocopter missed one auto attack from the low ground, and he also decided not to chase you so far. He was a little bit too confident in you dying to the homing missile. So you lucked out on that one. As far as everything else goes, your farm was pretty bad. As far as the Draw Ranger wants a lot of farm so she can do a lot of damage. Draw Ranger naturally does a lot of damage. So if you put items on top of that, then she does a crap ton of damage. And speaking of damage, if you're going to be going for a Shadow Blade as a Draw Ranger, or just a Shadow Blade in general, you want to build that Shadow Blade as fast as possible. Not necessarily rush it, but just build it as fast as possible, at least before the 20-minute mark. Because if you can build a Shadow Blade before the 20-minute mark, usually people are still trying to build their items. They're still trying to get this stuff together. And you can just run around and just catch them off guard with that Shadow Blade and just destroy them. So I'll say that part. And I'll also say another thing about the Shadow Blade. If you're going to be building a Shadow Blade as a Draw Ranger, I guess you can get away with not building the damage item first. You can build the attack speed item. Why not? The armlet gives you... Sorry. The Shadow Armlet gives you... Amulet. The Shadow Amulet gives you 30 attack speed, which is cool, but it's not giving you any damage. So I think I would me personally, I would prefer to see a Claymore before you get the Shadow Arm amulet. Mainly because two things. One, the active on Shadow amulet is not really useful because usually if somebody sees a Joe Ranger, they're going to try to kill her as fast as possible because she can do a lot of damage. It's not even funny. So a Shadow amulet, that 2.6 seconds of you trying to go invisible, it's not going to be fast enough. You're going to die. And all that's compounded on the fact that you don't really have much HP to begin with. So building a Claymore, just go ahead and just go ahead and get that damage out and just do a bunch of damage to them before they're able to kill you, and you'll be fine. But yeah, definitely build that faster. As far as everything else, regen, I don't know. Oh yeah, regen. Yes, regen is good on you. You need regen. Helmet of Dominator. Helmet of Dominator, really great item to see on Joe Ranger. Sometimes a Mask of Madness. I don't agree with Mask of Madness at all, but Mask of Madness on Joe Ranger, yeah, sure, why not? She can do enough damage, why not? But Helmet of Dominator, it gives you that passive regen. I think it only gives you 3 regen, but that's 3 more HP regen that you would have than you would have otherwise. It also gives you armor. It also gives you life steal. So those Helmet of Dominator, really good item for you. So you can build that for regen. And that's pretty much all I'll say about that. We still no. I gotta go back. We also need to talk about your positioning. Positioning as almost with everybody is bad, or if your positioning is bad, as almost with everybody, you're pretty much gonna die. So work on your positioning. That's all I'll say about that. Moving on to Lena. I don't really remember anything. You did ulti, you did some pretty cool ultis. I liked your ultis. You ultied at the beginning of the fight. I totally agree with that. As soon as you see somebody walk up to the map, especially if it's a Gyrocopter, somebody who does a lot of damage, just ulti them to do a lot of damage, so that way they'll be more weary about continuing with their fight. So definitely, I approve of your ulting so soon, and that's really all I remember. And also probably more positioning comments, but just see the things that I said about Weaver, Clinks, and Joe Ranger, and you'll be fine. But anyway, that's all I had to say. This was wow. Okay, I've been recording for 56 minutes, and this is only a 27-minute game, so I spoke way too long. Anyway, my name is Cool Blue. I was about you guys a viewer replay cast. This is viewer replay cast number 9. This was sent in once again. This was sent in by the Silencer. I threw a few tips there. I kind of spent a little bit too long talking on the tips, but I don't know. If somebody's still listening, thank you for listening to the tips. I really like theory crafting, as you can probably tell. And as you can probably see soon, I'm not all too great or too pro at executing my own theories. So definitely take everything I say with a grain of salt. Definitely don't take it for the word of law. Just think of it as something to think about. So think of it as something to think about. Yeah, think about it as something to consider. But anyway, so yeah, enjoy Dota, have fun, blah. I'll see you guys whenever.